There we go. So recording is now started. So as per usual, if you'd like to turn your cameras off or blur your backgrounds, now is the time to do so. I'm really excited about today. Today is my jam. This is what I do. This is what I learned at university. This is what I've done my whole career. And it really is around branding and marketing and colors and design. But I didn't want to bog into the weeds of that too much. I actually wanted to keep it really high level. And for those of you that are starting to build your landing pages and thinking about websites, this is going to be really useful for you. So we're going to start at the beginning, and I have fully made up an artist and posted her artwork. And I meant to have a look on Instagram to see if there is a real person by this name. I have no clue, but I have fully made her up. So I have no idea whether this person is real or not. But anyway, I'm going to share my screen with you now. And hopefully you see this presentation. So let me just move that down the bottom. Okay, so I'm just going to start from the beginning. All right, so let me just move that up so it disappears. Okay, so the person that we are looking at today is an artist by the name of Samantha Smith Artist, and here's some of her work. So what we're going to talk about is it's a personal branding, and this is a discovery exercise. It's something that I want you guys to think about as you're putting together everything that you do. So whether it's your artist statement, whether it's how you post on your Instagram page, how you show up, the fact that you show up actually, it's the colors you choose for your landing page, through anything that you include in your packaging when you send your art after it's been sold, landing pages. It's basically everything that you do. And those of you starting now on this landing page where you're starting to collect emails, this is the perfect time to be thinking about this stuff. So I don't want you to get too bogged down and it's marketing and it's branding and I don't need this. What I want you to think about is, how do I make my stuff look good and how do I make it look consistent? But I just wanted to give you the whole kind of soup to nuts, start to finish, of why you should think and how you should think about it. So let's dive into Samantha Smith Artist, and here's some of her artwork. And why am I not? There we go. Okay, so we're going to talk about consistency. We're going to talk about visual elements, and we're going to talk a little bit about what I've called typography, which is kind of the putting it all together. Typography is usually, writing and text. I've kind of called it that. Potentially I could have called it something better, but that will do fine for today. So who is Samantha? So Samantha is an abstract artist living in the North Island of New Zealand. Sam draws her inspiration from the beautiful colours of the South Pacific Ocean and the land that surrounds her Paihia home. So this random lady is fully a picture off Canva. I have no idea who she is, but I wanted just to illustrate to you that, and that actually that text could almost be an artist statement. It isn't hers, but it could be, right? And just a little bit about her, where she draws her inspiration from, and her color palette. Oh, hang on. Sorry, that was me touching the button. Hang on. Oh, that was me. Okay. Oh, have I got? No, I don't think I've got timings on. Okay. So where we are. So consistency. So notice the color that Sam uses in her work. It's fresh and vibrant, much like the thoughts inspired when people think about New Zealand: clean, vibrant, and fresh. So she draws her inspiration from everything around her. Her style is consistent and instantly recognizable as hers. So her style forms a major part of her personal branding. So this artwork is instantly recognizable as hers, as is the colors she uses. So think about those artists that you instantly recognize their work when you see it. What is it that triggers your recognition of their work and of them? And one of the artists in our group, which I'll call out, is Maya, right? So whenever we see any of Maya's work posted, you instantly know that that's a Maya piece. And why is that? It's her beautiful line work. It's her use of color. It's her, it's the way she's so free with her style. And so we instantly recognize that. Think about Amanda also. Most of us would recognize her work. When you see it, it's the florals, it's the abstracts. So think about those artists whose work you instantly recognize. That's a place that you want to be at because that forms part of your branding. So Samantha's artist statement is capturing the colour of the great New Zealand outdoors. So is Samantha's artist statement consistent with her art and her colour palette? It pretty much is, right? Because when you think about New Zealand, you think about clean, fresh, vibrant, and simple in a lot of ways. And Samantha's artwork is clearly all of those things. So when you're thinking about your artist statement, have a look through your feed and have a look at what is in your feed. What does that represent? And really, that should form your artist statement. Or if you're really clear about what your artist statement is, then reverse engineer that, right? Think about your artist statement, then go look at your feed and go, does my feed match what I've said it should in my artist statement, which should be in your bio? So that's the first tip around artist statements. So the visual elements or the concept about what makes branding, and makes branding personal to you, is the color palette. What is your color palette influenced by? Is it a random selection of colors that you really like? And if so, can you pull those into a story? Or is it just colors that or is it a limited color palette? Like I work with a limited color palette. So is it that? And if so, what is it about that limited color palette that you can pull into the story? Or is it just colors that you're drawn to because that's what the classes are? Be creative. Think about those colors. Try and draw what you're using into a story. So think about your subject matter too. Is it flowers? Is it faces? Is it animals? Is it landscapes? Is it a mixture of? So when you're creating your brand and your artist statement, think about all of those things and think about how can you weave that into what it is you do. So I'll give you an example of mine. So mine predominantly is faces. And my artist statement is celebrating the women that make Australia their home. Something along those lines, but it's celebrating women and it's about Australia. And to be honest, I change it a lot. I have recently added the word land in there because I was thinking that I might go into landscapes a little bit more. And so therefore, by kind of tweaking that a little bit, it does lend itself to me doing something else other than faces. Think about the medium you use as well, and you can always weave that into your brand. So whether it's watercolor, acrylic, mixed media, oil, collage, whatever it might be, you can always weave that into what your artist statement is about, but also how it's reflected in your feed. So this concept should be considered across every part of your brand. So including landing pages, web pages, postcards, flyers, stickers, anything that you include in your art by way of promotional material. And this is where the fun part happens, to be honest. So I then went rogue. So I decided I was going to put a mood board together and I wanted to brainstorm some ideas to come up with a color palette for Samantha. So Samantha, her art is very vibrant. It's quite bright. So when we were brainstorming color, she wanted her website to be cool and relaxed, which made the bright, vibrant colors of her artwork pop. Now, she lives by the ocean, so we knew that we wanted to bring those colors into her website design. So I just went and found some random ocean pictures of random people and put them here together, and then had a look at the colors. Went to this website, and I want you to jot this down. I will, as always, save this presentation as a PDF. But if you've not been to coolors.co, so COOLORS.co, it is fantastic for generating color palettes. So you can go in, it gives you some suggested color palettes that you can start with. Then you can lock those colors down and push your space bar. And what it will do is it will generate other colors that will match and coordinate with the colors that you've already locked down. So I've done this with my Organized Artist color palette, and then I played with this yesterday for Samantha as well. So we came up with these 5 colors. Now you can see that the colors all have a color code or a number which tells every single color, wherever you're choosing color from, whether it's ConvertKit, whether it's Canva, that is the color that you want, and that's its name. So Chris, I'm going to call you out because I know that you've done your landing page. So this will be an awesome exercise for you to do, and it's exciting to do at this point in time, to go in and lock a color palette away, either one that you like, that matches the colors of your website, colors that you're drawn to, and play with them until you come out with maybe 5 or 6 colors that you really like that all go together. And then when you're in ConvertKit, and you'll have seen when you were putting your landing page together that you can change the color palette. So now you can go and actually put the address of one of these colors in, or the colors that you choose in, and it will bring up that color. So you can make everything match and sing together. And that is actually personal branding, is basically having everything matching, not just a random selection of colors across everything you do. It's just bringing it all together. And this is the fun part. Playing in Coolors is it's really cool, actually. I could spend hours in there. So go and have a play and find the palette that you like. What you can then do is go into ConvertKit, and you can go into Canva, and you can choose the colors that you want to bring across all of your, everything you produce, essentially everything. So I made a logo for Samantha Smith Artist, and you'll see that blue was one of the colors that we had in her color palette. And I just made it really simple just for the purpose of this. Interesting, my logo, I didn't realize in the presentation your CDOs dropped down. That's interesting when I shared the screen. But I've also included, I made some postcards for myself in Canva to go with my latest collection. And I've actually put them, like they'll go out with everything that I do. And it's essentially my information and about me on the back. That is a template in Canva. It's free to use. You put in your colors. You can see behind my photo, I've added a little piece of artwork just as a banner, and then I've added a little frame out of Canva templates. Really easy to put together. The best thing about that is when I sent it, so I found a local printer, and I said to him, I've got it in Canva. If anything needs to change, let me know. He said, just send me the Canva link, and if anything needs to change with margins and stuff, I'll just go and do it for you. So 1, it saved me time and therefore money. And 2, they were printed that day, and I went and pinned them up because I'd made the job easier for him. And he said to me, oh my gosh, I wish more people would do this. He said, it's so easy. And then you'll see too, Vicky's testimonial, that is done in Canva. That is a template. Where I've changed the colors that match my color palette for the Organized Artist. So I've chosen a darker color at the back, and then the bright pink and the logo. And so that's literally all a Canva template. So with Canva, you can actually load in your brands and colors, and it will you can just go change them. So it's really easy to use. And I'm going to have a chat to you guys actually when we come off this recording, whether you'd like to do a Canva lesson and see how you can create, you can use Canva to create, not only to post in your Instagram feeds, but also for this kind of promotional type material. I also did a flyer, which I should have included here with my latest collection. So there's story on the front with some pieces of art, and then the recipe on the back. So they all came with that that gorgeous pumpkin scone recipe. So I produced all of that in Canva and just sent the link to the printer. So if you've not had a play around with Canva before, it's pretty cool. So that is the story of Samantha and her branding message. So start to finish, about sorting out the colors, looking at her artwork, thinking about her artist statement, finding the colors that she likes, and then locking those colors down so we can get the color codes, and then using those color codes across everything that she does to make them standard. So, whether it be a landing page, whether it be stickers you create, whether it be anything like postcards you want to add in with your art, bookmarks, whether it be absolutely anything, you can create that yourself in Canva. And then you've got your color palette locked away, you can load that into Canva. And so everything has a really standard look and feel. So I'm going to stop sharing this now. And I'm really keen to hear raise of hands, so you can put your cameras on if you want to. I am still recording, so just be aware I am still recording the Q&A session. Who uses Canva here? Does anybody use Canva now? Yeah, Erica. Yeah, Miriam. Vicky. Yeah, Vicky. The two Vickies. Yeah, it is fun. Yeah, Danny. Good job. It is really fun to play around in and create. Like I actually spend way too long on Canva in a day. I do all of my presentations in Canva. And so all of my presentations, actually, Samantha's is going to stuff me up a bit now because my brand colors are in there. And so I just go brand apply, and all of my presentations come up with my branding colors, look and feel. Really easy. On Instagram at the moment, a lot of people talk about carousels. So in Instagram, you can design the carousel and then save it and just post it. And it's got all of the tiles really nicely laid out, the right size and everything. So Canva is a really, really fun tool. But it is really great from this starting point, especially if you do the exercises in Coolers and going to find your color palette that matches your look and feel in your artist statement. So, don't go rogue and choose something that is really different. Make it match the colors that you've got on your feed. So go into Coolers, choose your colors, lock them down. I'd love to see the color palettes you come up with. We might actually, I will put a post in there of color palettes because I think that would be fun. I'll post Samantha's that you've seen here. Clearly she's random made up. I'll post hers, and I'll also post mine, the Organized Artist. I'll post those ones. But they're fun, and I've actually done it for another friend of mine recently who has started a business where she goes to convention centers and she sends books from authors back to people. And so we made a logo and we did her color palette for her so that she was ready to go with that. So it's fun. Danny, you have a question. You're on mute, hun. Oh, you haven't got a question? You've just still got your hand raised.
I just got my hand raised. I
Okay,
actually,
yes.
when you are posting in Canva, posting in say Instagram via a template that you're using in Canva.
Yes.
So would it be okay if you sort of come up with a basic background and a line, and then you just put your messages in the same
It's exactly
wording
what I do for
type.
the organized artist. It's
Yeah,
exactly
so
what
it's
I
repeat,
do.
repeat, repeat, rinse and repeat. Is that all right?
That's exactly what I do. So in the organized artist, if you look at that feed, I've got one that's a photo feed, one that's like a quote frame, and I just change them around depending on what I'm feeling, depending on what I'm posting and where it's going to look. Does it need a photo of me? Does it need a photo of something else? Or is it just simply an eye-grabbing title? Yeah, so I've got 3 in the organized artist, and honestly, rinse and repeat,
Okay.
every single one of them. Yeah, except I've changed my yellow slightly. Yeah, the bright yellow was causing some of the printers some issues, so I've just tweaked that color slightly. But I run 2 Canva accounts, a free one on my phone, which is actually, I do all of my organized artists I do on my phone. I don't even do on a laptop, but everything else that I create where I'm playing around with just things that are a little bit more I need a bigger screen. I'm old. My eyes aren't what they used to be. I like to use, desktop or laptop, so I can just see it better. I can play, I can arrange, I can play a little bit better. Yeah, but otherwise, if you're using just a template like that, the phone is fantastic and it's quick and easy. So I'll sit there, usually when Emily's at the gym, I'll go and I'll schedule 3 posts almost every night for the organized artist. I've just changed my strategy on that too. Remind me if we've got time and anyone's interested, is about what I'm about to start doing with that. Chris.
Okay, so I've never heard of Canva before. Is it free?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is. So do you want me to screen share and we'll go into mine? Let me have a look. Let's go. Let's go.
But it's free-ish, right,
Yeah,
Allie? Like you can do
it's
free or
free.
you
It's free. Hang on. Let me just close down some of the stuff that I've got here, and I'll open it.
There's a pro version that
There is a pro version.
you can buy stuff, but you can do so much on the free.
Yeah, you don't need to buy. So it's canva.com, and I'm just going to open my account. Let me just bring you guys. Where are you guys? Let me bring you back. Here you are. I'm going to share. Okay, so can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Can you see that? Okay, so this is Canva.
Yep.
Can you see that black line, or is that only me seeing that? You can't see a black banner across the top that's about sharing? No? Okay. So I'm just going to come down. So you can see here, this is some of the things that I've been playing around with, right? So there's Vicky's testimonial. That was the branding. So the PowerPoint that I just did. There's the postcard I bought up so I could copy in. I started playing with one for hers, but I ran into a licensing issue with all of the art. So I'm like, ooh, just use mine. You can see the other PowerPoints that I've had here that I've been playing with. And here, if you come over here, so see the crown, that is with the pro issue. But I have my brand. Oh, well, let's look at Samantha's. So here's her logo and here's her color palette in. And then I saved the fonts that I used as well. If we come back to here, here's the ones for the organized artist. So I've got 6 colors there because I like to get those darks in every once in a while. And then the headings. So it's quite fun, but where you've got the little crown, that is in the pro version, which is only about $12 a month. Like it's really, it's it's cheap as. So if you go to create a design and we want to do like an Instagram post, you can come here and you can load your photos up. So you can add, so see all these templates. So I was looking at testimonials, all sorts of things. but we might just go, let's just go artist. So there is a gazillion templates in here. So we might just go, where's one that we can change the colors on? Do something that's a bit more enticing. Let's do this one. All right. So we can come into here and change anything on here. So I can come down, let me go back to my color palette. So I can come into here and I can go, you know what? I actually want that to be bright pink. This text down here, let's make it bigger so we can see it. So we can just slide it along. Okay, now, yeah, that's cool, but you know what? I want to make it bigger, so we can just make that bigger. And I want that text to be the aubergine color that I use. The background, oh, can I change the background? So some of them you can't change the background, but I could go, actually, I might like a different picture in there. You can change the picture, but let me just come back to here. I just want to show you the basics. You can add, so you can change any of this element. So that is yellow. Again, I can come back and make that hot pink. So you can change, as you can see, you can just change any of the elements once you've got your brand colors in there. But you can just, let me just come back out. Actually, let me just come home. Let me come home. So where you've got create an image, or create a design rather, you've got all of these. So a Facebook post, a story, a presentation, a document. You can do a flyer, you can do a postcard's really cool if you want to add those postcards like in with your artwork when you send it. And there's all sorts of great, you know, designs that you can use. So this one, actually that's the one I did. You can see clearly that that is the one I did. I just changed the design. You know, this is quite fun if you're doing a collection, which is the one I started to do for Samantha. So put 3 pieces of your work there, change that from 50% to thank you, put your name there, update the colors, you know, so you can update everything on here completely. And just to show you how easy it is, so say I wanted to change that apricot color, I can go click on it. See the apricot color comes up here? And I go, you know what? I want that to be the dark aubergine. And at the bottom, wherever it had that peach color to aubergine, I can change all. So now it all changes. If I, oops, hang on, let me come back up. Why can't I get up? Okay, so see on the back page, it's changed that to there as well. So it's really, really easy to use. It's really intuitive. It's fun to go and have a play. Let me just come back home again. I want to just show you what else you can do in here. So into create a design, really, as I said, really fun for doing if you want to add some little extra bits and pieces in, or you want to create a logo. Websites as well. You can do websites in here, your website pages. And if you have a look, like fully templated, so you can go, you know what, I want to make this about me, and I want it to look like this, and I want it to look like that. So then I might want to add a page, and let's have a look at what other layouts there are. Let's see, what else will I add? I want to add some testimonials. So I could do that, add that there. What else do I want to add? You know, and so there you can see that you can go in and you can build it up. I might want to put a story about my latest collection. And then I might also want to, I might change that and add that to links, so that it links to everywhere, so they can, you know, subscribe to my newsletter and all of that sort of stuff. So you can see you can really easily, if we flick up through these, you can really easily build the template of a website and then go in and add your photos, add your text. Really, really fun, really easy to do. And then literally all you need to do is get your URL and check your links and you're done. It's quick and easy. It's basic though. Bear in mind, it's basic. There is actually quite a good one. Let me just come back here. There was a good one that I was looking at earlier, which was really just like a link type template. Let me have a look. Link. So you can search here for anything, she says. I thought, let's have a look. No, these weren't. Oh, yeah, so see, you can see this is kind of one that's done for you, but that's not what I was looking at. But you can come in here and search. The other thing is with Canva, when you go to create a design, for this stage, let's just do so you can see, like, before I get sidetracked here, lots of things, right? You can do lots of things, stories, you can do planners. So this is how I made my planners for you guys. You can do podcast art, you can do the world's your oyster, right? You can do absolutely anything. But let's just come here for a minute. I just want to show you this, like, really awesome database of all sorts of things. So say I wanted to do artists. Go in here and search. So you've got graphics of an artist. You've got a fantastic photo library. Like, look at all of this. So if you're looking for art for even a landing page or anything and you don't want to put your face on, like, you can use something like that. It's such a great library here. So go and have a play. You know, like, some of these are fantastic. So go and have a play with those. So graphics, you can do video. So yeah, but particularly the photos, I love. Some of the graphics are quite good if you want to add, like, say you wanted to add an Instagram logo onto a website or a landing page or whatever it might be. You've got them here, so you can just go edit. You can resize them. You can resize it. Then you can add your name beside it and play around with it. So there is so much that you can do on Canva. I'm just going to bring you guys, I'm going to stop sharing and bring you guys back. But if you're keen to learn more about Canva and how you can use it, I can show you what I can do. I've also got a girlfriend, Kim, who I was talking about last week. And, you know, she can share lots of tips and tricks with us. Chris, you have a question?
Yeah. How do you figure out what color palette you're going to use? I mean, I use a lot of colors in my paintings. How do you find a branding palette?
So what I would do is if you're, I'm actually just going to go to your page, Chris.
Okay.
So what I would do is, if your page is really colorful and it's like, how are you going to choose? You know, if you've got lots of different colors. So this is Chris, right? So she has a lot of different colors here and a lot of, you know, beautiful work. And so, Chris, because it is so colorful, you can almost choose whatever draws you in. So I would start with the color palette in Coolers and choose one that draws you in, that you like the colors of, and maybe lock in 2 or 3 of them. So when you go into Coolers and you're choosing your colors, you can click on it to lock it in. And then when you push the space bar, it'll bring up the other colors that match the ones you've locked in. All I would suggest is make sure you've got a light and a dark, because sometimes you just need that contrast, you know, a bit like artwork, right? You just need that little bit of contrast between the light and the dark, and then play with the other colors. Yeah.
Okay.
It's fun. Go play. Go play. If I'll put the link up for it on the Facebook page. I'll add the link. And I'll add those color palettes that I've already got in there, which I've pulled together from Coolers. So yeah, go have a play and find those colors. But it's a really great time to do that exercise, because especially when you're starting to think about, even if it's just for a landing page, it's that you can be confident that those colors go together. Yeah, but fun to play around with bookmarks and stickers and postcards and other little bits and bobs. Honestly, my postcards, to have them printed, was something like 28 cents each. Like, they were really reasonable. Yeah. Because, I guess, and we talked about this earlier actually in one of our earlier Zooms, was what else do you add in to make that unboxing special? So it's about that kind of surprise and delight. Yeah. Yeah, Vicky, question.
Yes. Hi there. I just wanted to say that when you do work in Canva, for those that don't want to go to a printer or online, all your Canva, when you download it, usually fits into programs like, for us, Vistaprint or Officeworks. Their programs, when you load your Canva up into it, actually will match all the margins. And if it doesn't, it'll basically say you can't use it. That was all, just for those that wanted to print something off and were worried about things matching.
Yeah. So what are you saying?
How you went to the printer and found things a bit off, but if you follow a Canva template and download it, then load it up into, say, Vistaprint or Officeworks, it will load up correctly.
Yeah. No, because I'd extended a couple of margins on mine to make the text fit.
Yeah.
Yeah. The printer was like, "Ooh, what you done here?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I need to get the recipe in. Give me a break." Yeah. But to be honest, I was thinking about using Officeworks, and I found Officeworks to be double the price of my actually, it's not even a local printer, it's in the suburb. I just Googled printer and called him and said, how quick can you do it, and how can I deliver the artwork to you? And he's like, "Oh, well, give me a call." He goes, "If you email it to me," he said, "you can pick it up probably tomorrow." So I went, "Okay, give me a couple of minutes and I'll email you." And I said, "No, it's in Canva." He said, "Oh, just send me the links then." And he called me back. He goes, "Do you want them this afternoon?" That's all ready to go. Apart from my margin issue, where I was I was trying to get the font as big as I could, but I just reduced it slightly to fit in the margins. And actually, they're experts at that. He made it look better than it. Yeah, he's the printer. Yeah. So it was good, but it's fun if you particularly for those little extra, the labels and all of those kind of things that you think about. It is fun for that. Yeah. But the purpose of the branding exercise really is just to get you to think about your colors, and just make sure that they match what you say about yourself and what your page looks like. And if your page is really colorful, then I would literally go with, what colors do you like? Because honestly, you got to live with them. They're going to be across everything you do. So make them colors that you like. Danny, I know you've done work on a color palette. Do you want to share what yours is like? And did you use Coolits? How did you match all your colors together?
That's a good question. I I was using a lot of peach in my painting at the moment. I like a salmony color, and I quite like aqua and navy, so I kind of put them together. And then Lisa was selling some stuff from Greece, her little talisman, and I bought one. So this is my color Canva thing. So I heard about Coolers, and I went into Coolers. Guess what? It's a popular color for this year. So I did not even have to put them all together. I just found it there for me.
Yeah.
I gotta do things the easy way. So
Yeah.
I didn't reinvent the wheel. I was very happy with the popular choice, and then I continued using it.
And actually, that's the cool thing about Coolers too, Danny, and that's a really great point. Thank you for mentioning it. Is when you go in, they have actually got some pre-done for you templates, and they might be, popular colors
or
or
trending.
trending colors, yeah, or trending colors that they've then used in other color palettes. And they've, some of them have got 4 colors, some of them have got 5, 6, some of them have got a lot more. And I may add more to mine eventually, but mine get me where I need to go at the moment. And look, I'll be honest, when I was doing mine, I landed on the hot pink and the yellow because I needed it in a hurry. I needed to get that page up and running, and then started posting and went, oh crap, now I'm stuck with it. So I had to go put those 2 colors in and then go, what else can I use that go with those 2 colors? I needed a dark. So I kind of went with that really dark aubergine color, like we call it eggplant. And then I filled in the other colors from that. And do I love it? Look, it's okay. It gets me where I need to go. I kind of wish I'd done it differently, but when you're and that's why I wanted to arm you guys with this information, because sometimes when you're in a hurry, you kind of do something and then you go, okay, I know, I'm talking to the brand guys at my work, and I sit as part of that team. One of the guys who knows what I'm up to is like, the good thing about it though is that a lot of colors at the moment are muted, and a lot of beige and pale pink and apricot and quite muted colors. When you look at people's websites and their design is all very neutral. So he said, you stand out like a sore thumb. And I'm like, oh, well, story of my life. But people know that they are my posts, right? So there's that. So from my perspective with the organized artist, it was maybe a happy accident, let's say. And it's worked for me. I just have to I had to then build around those colors, which, yeah, was an interesting exercise. And look, it's coming out fine. The testimonial graphic that I did for Vicky, that was in my newsletter that you saw there, which is actually going to be one of my Instagram posts scheduled to come up soon, is, that's got the dark in it and the pink. And it's, yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah. Does anybody else have any other questions on color, on thinking about doing this? It ties in nicely if you are going to play with a landing page. Speaking of landing pages, Chris, would you like to come off mute? I'd love to find out from you. So you did your ConvertKit landing page yesterday.
Yeah.
How easy was it to put together?
It was fairly easy. I mean, there's so many choices. It took me a long time to figure out what I wanted. And I don't even know if I'm going to leave. Yeah, there's a lot of templates.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm going to leave it the way it is. I wanted to, get something there.
Yeah.
And obviously the colors might change too, but
yeah.
It wasn't difficult. I mean, the only thing that I had problems with was trying to get the email thing to work for subscribing. And obviously I ticked boxes or didn't tick boxes, and I didn't know that there was a settings thing until you put up pictures. And I'm like,
you know what?
Oh, look at that.
I actually think just going through this exercise with you and looking at the setup of it, I'm thinking I might put a roadmap together. So this is the settings menu. Make sure you've got and I'll just go through and I'll screenshot, not photos from my phone like that are dodgy. I'll go through and snip from my artist page so that you can see clearly the radio buttons to push on. I will do that actually. So we'll put a roadmap. But
I am one of those I hate technology people.
Yeah. And I knew that.
I don't know how to do anything.
Yeah.
But I made it through.
You did
So if I
great.
can do
You
it,
did great.
anybody could do it.
And you know, when I first did mine too, people weren't getting their, I had the same issue. People weren't getting their confirmation emails. So then I had to go and play around with those buttons. So I will go and do that. I'll just put that little roadmap up there and put the buttons, take screenshots, because then if anybody else is wanting to do that, like ConvertKit and MailChimp all have these templates. Like there are thousands of them. And you can go and you can just choose newsletter, fill in the gaps, change the artwork, put a photo of yourself. There's some really cool ones with links on as well. So if you wanted it to look a bit more websitey, you can do that too. There's some really quite fun ones there to go and have a look at. But well done, Chris. You did a really good job, and now you know that it's working. You are collecting people's emails. So the next thing that you are going to do is you're going to start talking about it. You're going to add it to the bottom of all your posts. You're going to say, you know, jump up into my profile and make sure you subscribe to my newsletter.
Yeah,
Or
I mean,
subscribe-
I'm
or
I'm
you know,
gonna go
share your
through it
email
and
address.
I'm gonna play with it with the
Yeah.
colors and things before I like put it on
Yeah.
my Instagram or anything like
Yeah.
that. But yeah, it
Yeah.
wasn't difficult. It was just a matter of like, okay, I'm going to do this today, and to, you know,
Yeah.
sort of block out time to do that. If I had known about, you know, the settings and things like that, it wouldn't have taken me
Yeah, which is why
as
I'll
long
put the
as it did.
screenshots up. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And it, you know, because to be honest, sometimes the hardest part of putting it together is thinking about it, right? Once you actually
Yeah.
get into it, it's not difficult at all. It's actually quite fun, but it's just making sure that you've got those settings right so that you can see. And I can't tell you when I was doing mine, how many times I subscribed myself, and then I go and I'm like, oh no, I don't like that. I want that to change. I'm going to go and add that back in.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll put the screenshots of my Alison Lake art page up, because my organized artist is slightly different. So I send back some other links in the reply for that now. But my Alison Lake art is just an art, you know, a subscribe. And I don't send emails from my Alison Lake art. So I just simply collect people's addresses. And I think I say something about, you know, I'll keep you updated with my launch, whatever. I don't know, something. But I certainly don't do newsletters on that. I'm literally just making sure I'm collecting people's email addresses. Yeah.
okay.
Danny, you had a question?
You just answered it.
Oh,
My question was about how often should you send an email with if you're just doing a flat collecting emails, whereas, because I'm looking at doing a landing page where I'm sign up for my newsletter, so I'm going to send like 3 emails and then an email a week sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
the thing with a newsletter is, if you start down that track of a newsletter, it's got to be consistent. You've got to keep doing it, right? ConvertKit's everything, and I use ConvertKit for my newsletters. Everything that ConvertKit does is templated and really easy to use, So you can add images, you can add buttons, you can add all sorts of stuff. So for those of you that are celebrating and showcasing like one piece of art in particular, Christy, I'm thinking of you when I say this, it would actually be fantastic to, you know, when you had that piece of art, to put it there and to talk about the story and to have it there. And then at the bottom is the link to purchase it. So you can manipulate those newsletters in a lot of ways. You'll notice my format changes quite a bit depending on what I'm talking about. I'm trying to keep them quite short, because I don't know about you guys, but my newsletter inbox, I look at them every morning and go, holy crap, really? And I go through and usually I delete, and I put the stars on the ones I want to come back and read. And then I'll sit down, you know, usually of an evening when Ian's watching football or something, and I'll make my way through those newsletters then. So, you know, there is a lot of stuff that goes in people's inboxes. So I'm always mindful of that too. So I've decided I no longer write War and Peace. And to be honest, it's so much easier to manage. It takes me like maybe half an hour to put it together. I always check my links. But once you start, you've got to be consistent about it. So think about that. Danny, I'm looking at you when I say that, because I think you will be doing consistent newsletters down the track. Yeah.
Yeah, I have well, I'm going on this trip and I meant to get everything all in place, but I'm just having tech issues with the company that I'm dealing with. But that's fine.
Yeah.
It's sorting itself out. But I already have the first 7 emails done, ready to go. So, you know, it's just I'm doing it in batches so
Yeah.
I don't get so, because I don't like to write, so I have to send it to someone to correct it for me. So
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, it's interesting. I noticed for those of you following on the changes in Instagram, so Instagram have just announced channels in Messenger. So where you can record and send a video out to your people who subscribe to your channel, but they can't talk back to you. They can only kind of give you a like an emoji reaction. They can't actually engage with you on it. So it's going to be interesting to watch that. So I got the test channel, which I then engaged with and got the same poll 30 times. And then Adam messages and he goes, oh, whoops. I think I got a bit excited on the polls. And I'm like, yeah, you know, if I could have put a comment, it would have been a no kidding comment. But, you know, you can only kind of you can only kind of do emoji responses. It's going to be interesting to watch how that plays out. But I almost feel like Instagram is trying to get a bit clubhousey, if that makes sense. So you can collaborate with somebody else in channels. So it's brand new. It's only been rolled out to a few creators to test it. So it'll be really interesting to see where it lands. But I think for those of us that are creatives, when I saw it, my initial reaction was, how cool to show up and talk to like an audience of collectors or an audience of people you know that are watching your work, and you can engage with them and talk about your art. And as to what then happens with their responses, it will be very interesting. But it's almost like a podcast on video as well. I don't know how long the time is that you can video on the channel. But I'm watching it with interest because there's a lot of talk at the moment too about podcasts, a lot about Substack, a lot about Patreon, you know, all of these other kind of platforms. And I feel like Instagram is trying to capture that market as well. So I think we're going to see a lot of changes on Instagram, which also, or a lot more changes, I should say, because it seems to be constant. But it also leads into my belief that, you know, Meta, who own Instagram and Facebook, are investing a lot in Instagram, and that Facebook will become the place of the groups and those, you know, group pages that are housed on Facebook. It's so good in that regard, and it's something Instagram just can't quite replicate. Yeah. I love that we've got small people in our audience. Yeah, little sweet girl. Does anybody else have any other questions? So homework this week, if you decide to, is find a color palette that you like. Go play with a color palette. I will, over the weekend, I will go and do snips of my ConvertKit newsletter setup. So you can see exactly how the radio buttons are and how I've got it set up. Yeah. So share, make sure whatever you do, share with us. So share your color palettes with us. When you've got your landing page done and you're looking for people to subscribe, share the link so that we can go and check that out and celebrate your success, and also subscribe to your newsletters, or just, sorry, I shouldn't say newsletters. It's because I think about that when I'm doing it, but just subscribe so that, you know, you've got our details. It doesn't, and as I say, don't be frightened, because it doesn't have to be a newsletter. You can literally just collect that information. Yeah. And I'll make sure I word that too, that if you want to copy and paste that wording, feel free to do so. Steal anything of mine. You know, I'm always fine with that. Just help yourself. Yeah. Cool. Does anybody else have any other questions? No? We have a hot seat interview next week. And I'm conscious too that I've given you a lot of information over the last few weeks. And I know that the week comes around really quickly, and then you get this kind of spray of new information. And I sometimes feel like I'm the fire hydrant and I'm just expecting you to catch it all. So I am really conscious of that. So and I'll put a poll up in the Facebook group, if you'd rather digest over this coming week and come armed, we could just do a whole question and answer session next weekend of everything, like ask anything and everything of what we've talked about. It could be even URLs. How do you get one? What are you going to use it for? Landing page. It could be anything at all that we've discovered or discussed, or anything else that you want to have a chat about. If you would like to do that, I've not got the hot seat interview lined up because I've actually not approached people yet, but I can easily do that. Or if there's a topic that you'd like to hear, you know, do you want to hear from somebody about something? Let me know that also. I'm here for you guys, so let me know. It gives us a chance. Those hot seat interviews give us a chance to either bring somebody in, or it gives us a chance to talk about, you know, if somebody's done something in the group that they'd like to share, like Erica very graciously did last week, or we can use them for Q&A sessions. So I'll put that in in a post, and you guys can vote and let me know what you'd like. And I'm cool with that. See you, Vicky. Yep, and I'm cool with that. All right. Does anybody have any other questions before we go? No? It's been a delight as always. I love starting my weekend. It's Saturday morning here. I love starting my weekend with you guys. We have a heat wave here. Erica, I know you're heading this way very shortly. We have a heat wave here currently. Our temperatures got to 38 degrees yesterday.
Wow.
So Celsius here yesterday. My girlfriend Paula, who is just west of Sydney, they reached 42. So yeah, it is. It's been a scorcher. Hey, Christy.
Hi, Allie. I just wanted to give you feedback, what you were saying. I think it's a great idea, because I think it'll kind of pull together a lot of that information, you know, into a center for us, and maybe even how we prioritize it.
Yeah,
you know, what's the
absolutely.
first project? And I think,
That's a
you know,
great
Chris
idea.
having that whole newsletter adventure is a great inspiration
Yeah.
for me. And I think that might be a great place to start. But then, you know, and some people have a website, and then how do we, you know, all of that stuff. So kind of coordinating and pulling it all together would be great. And I think your Q&A thing is an awesome idea.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, I'm happy with that too. I'm just conscious, I know what it's like, and I'm really conscious when I go to groups and it's just a lot of learning, and then I feel the overwhelm. So I never kind of want this to be oh my gosh, I can't keep up. It's more, you know what, let's stop and take a breath. Let's catch our, okay, where are we at? What do we need help with? Ask any questions. You know, share about what you're thinking. Hey, I'm thinking about doing a landing page, but I'm not sure. Or do I really need a website? Is a landing page going to do it for me? And if I've got if I've bought a web address, can I just bolt that onto my landing page? You know, all of this kind of, just think about what it is. it's a great idea, Christy. Thank you for doing a priority list. You know, basically where to start.
Mhm.
I'm going to work on that this week and I will put that up. I will do something in Canva. I'll get a little checklist together. So Canva is fantastic for all of these things, right? You can do so much for forms and checklists and all of that sort of information. So I'm in Canva every day, but that's a great tip. I will do that, Christy. Thank you.
Johnny, there's a darling little face that is, I just have to say,
Oh,
with
look at
us.
her all snuggled in.
Yeah.
it's so
She just woke
beautiful.
up from her nap, so she's still kind
Aw.
of.
Oh, I love it when they're all squishy like that and they're just, you know, still not quite awake and just all snuggly. I miss those times. My
Yeah.
14-year-old's not so good at that anymore. Actually,
Well,
she doesn't wake up happy. She wakes up grumpy.
one
Yeah.
day, y'all, I'll be old enough to have grandchildren, and then it starts over.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So cute.
I have a question about questions.
Yes.
I'm not sure if I'm going to be traveling next Friday or not, but can we just send you questions if we have them?
Please
So you
do.
can discuss them?
Absolutely. And I'll put a post in the group and just say if anybody's got any questions, post here. If you forget, just send me a DM, Johnny, like just message
Okay.
me. I'm really across my messages and things. But absolutely, I'd love questions. And that's what will drive next week's session is the questions that I get from you guys. Yeah. So, and ask absolutely anything, you know, I'm always up for a good chat.
I'm so looking forward to your friend if she comes to speak
Yeah,
or to
I'll
talk with us.
call actually, and I'll lock her in.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I know she has a big piece of work. She works for one of the Australia's largest breweries as a contractor. And I know she's got a big piece of work with them coming into the AFL season, but she might be through that now. I'll certainly ask her. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, for those of you that I don't see at book club or paint along, have a fantastic week. For those of you that come to paint along, I'll see you tomorrow. For those of you that come to book club, I'll see you on Monday, my time, Sunday, yours, most of you. Yeah. So have a good few days and I will see you along the way. Thank you for coming this morning. You've given me some homework to do like usual. I will stop the record and I'll see you soon.